What's up guys, and welcome back to Faith Family Homestead. If you haven't already noticed by the intro, I am feeling so much better, thank goodness. It's really windy today. It's supposed to be about 60, I think 6 degrees outside, but it's really windy, so I'm starting this video inside of my hoop house. I did come in and was just checking on all of my plants underneath the plastic here. I did up pot 2 more trays of peppers. Let me show you guys. I up potted 2 more trays of peppers, but then, let's see, lift this up. So I up potted, actually, yeah, 2. One right here and then one down there. But then I still have this tray that still has probably about, I want to say 2 more trays worth of peppers once I separate them. But I ran out of soil inside of my wheelbarrow here. Finally, I've ran out of soil. So what I was using was just peat moss and then just wetting it down and using that to up pot my peppers in. I still need to plant my dwarf, hold on. Okay, I still need to plant my dwarf tomatoes, which my cat came in here and dropped the tray, and so a lot of the containers are doing the gangsta lean and all that good stuff. But I want to get that done. But we are now officially 6 weeks from my last frost day, which for me I'm estimating as April 2nd. And according to my Farmer's Almanac, I can actually plant potatoes outside today. And so I wanted to go ahead and get the potatoes in the ground. I already stopped by my farm store and picked up red potatoes, Yukon Gold, and white potatoes. I don't remember what the variety was, but I have 2 beds outside that I can plant potatoes in, and I'm estimating I could fit about 60 potatoes per bed, so that's 120 potatoes. So yeah, I was debating if it was too early to plant potatoes, even though, because I'm thinking even if they take a few weeks to come out of the ground, potatoes that I planted inside this hoop house, they didn't die back until it got down to about, that time it got down to 15 degrees, and then it stunted them, died back, and now they're growing back, because although the tops will die, the tubers are still alive in the ground. And so I'm wondering, even though it says it's okay to plant potatoes now, that if I plant them and then they start coming up in, let's say, about 4 weeks, and then we have a freak freeze like we did 2 years ago in like mid-April, that will really kill back the tops, and then you know, they'll have to start all over to grow again. But I'm gonna listen to the Farmer's Almanac only because I am really excited about planting potatoes, or planting anything outside in the ground. If you watched my last video, I did plant those brassicas outside, and I did end up separating some that was a little, you know, only had maybe 1 root when I separated them, but I went ahead and separated them anyway. And it's been about 3 days, and when I went to go check on them, I saw that 2 of them did not make it, but all of the rest of them look fine, which is alright with me because I have 3 Brussels sprouts that I can replace them with. So I came in here to get my scoop, and now we're gonna go outside and plant potatoes. I wanted to do my intro inside the hoop house because, like I said, it's really windy, and I don't know how much talking I'm gonna get done outside with the amount of wind that's happening, but we shall see. Oh my goodness, I got stuck. We shall see. If it's super windy and I'm trying to talk, I may just do a voiceover, but we're gonna try it. We're gonna try and do this outside. This is the bed that I planted all that in, and the beds that I want to plant potatoes in is that first bed. I planted potatoes on this side of the bed last year, so there might even still be some in there, and then this second bed right here. The first ones that I'm going to be, so the first potatoes that I want to plant are these red potatoes. I got this big bag, like I said, from the farm store, and it was $5.99. I did get 2 bags of these, and they came in all different sizes, but the good part is that they are sprouted, and I'm going to be planting them in both of these beds. Like I said, these beds are, oh my goodness, these beds are 3 feet wide by 15 feet long, and I estimated I could fit 60 potatoes in here because I'm going to be planting them 10 inches apart. I think it's 10 inches apart, 9 or 10 inches apart. It could be 9 inches apart, I'll say. So I'm going to do 4 going across, and then I don't know how many is that going down, but in both beds I calculated I could fit 60 each. Whoa. I already counted these potatoes, and I counted that I have 72. That is an estimate, because I didn't want to take all of them out of the bed. I mean, out of the bag. Oh my goodness, she's scared of the bag. Out of the bag. So I am going to go ahead and fill up this whole bed with 60 of the potatoes. No, back up, because you're going to scare me. Everything will go like this, see? I'm a scaredy cat, so if she jumps, I'm going to jump. Anyway, I'm going to go ahead and start sitting them out. And since this has 72, we should have some left over. I am going to plant all of, when I calculated, I had about 150, I think. 150 or 140 potatoes, so I am going to have leftovers. But one variety, if I want to plant all of, is definitely these reds, because it's my favorite potato. So I'm going to start. It's just going to knock down. I'm going to start with the smaller ones and work my way up. Okay, there's been a change of plans. Once I sat everything out and I got all 60 in the bed, it just looked like I could fit more. So then I got to 64, then I got to 68, and I had 3 more. So I planted all 71 potatoes in this bed, but I'm gonna bring you in and show you. They still look like they have a good amount of space. I'm not looking for huge potatoes. I could have cut some of these potatoes and like chitted them, is what they call it, where you cut them where they have eyes and then let them heal over and then plant them. I don't like doing that. I tried it 1 year and I didn't like it. I like to just plant whole potatoes. So some of these are on a little bit on the bigger side. I usually like to plant potatoes this size or a little bigger, but then we do have some, like I think this is the biggest one, and those were the last 3, and so I just sat them there. Watch out. I just sat them there. But basically I have 4 rows and I just planted them all going down, but then I had the last 3, and these ones at the beginning were really, really small. So I figured I can space them out a little bit because they were kind of like smaller than egg size, some of them, and plant the last 3 potatoes. So there's 71 red potatoes in this bed, and I'm gonna get planting. There is cardboard, I don't know if you can see down there hanging out, and there's cardboard underneath here, but it's more hidden so you can't really see it. So I'm going to try and just poke a hole in it with my shovel and see if I can, you know, poke a hole and dig down further. Not further. If I can't, I'm just going to remove the cardboard. I only had it there to cover the weeds that were there before, and then I put this compost on top. So hopefully in majority of the spots I can just poke a hole and plant right into the soil. I'm not going to be amending with anything. So I'm not going to be amending with anything because if you were here when I got my soil test results, I had high potassium and high phosphorus, and basically I would be planting with like bone meal because that helps with create roots, and potatoes is a root crop. But with me already having high potassium and phosphorus, I'm actually not going to be amending this soil, and I'm only going to be adding nitrogen in the form of fish fertilizer or blood meal. And with it having this compost on top, it should be fine. Ooh, yep, that spot did have a cardboard, but I was able to poke down and rip. And I'm just planting as deep as I can get them with my shovel and covering it back up. So however deep this is. But if I was doing if I didn't do a soil test, or this is like a first time spot I would be planting, that I was planting in, then I would probably add in bone meal. But since I did the soil test and know that I don't need to add any bone meal, that needs to be bigger. Because apparently bone meal, what is it called? Phosphorus and potassium can live in your soil for a couple years, whereas nitrogen leaves your soil faster, which I didn't know. And so every time I was planting, I would just plant in or add in, you know, all-purpose fertilizer or bone meal or neem I've used in the past, or I've used like just any fertilizer that just had an NPK, and apparently I don't need to this year, so I'm not. And if you never planted potatoes before, you want to plant with the eyes, which are these little sprouts, facing up, because that's going to be where your plant comes. I wanted to show you, because down here at the end, really throughout the whole bed, but while I'm here at the end, where there is cardboard, but you can see I can stick my, what is this called, shovel straight through, and that's the cardboard layer, and it is really moist underneath there. Like, that is really moist soil, and I have seen worms, earthworms and red worms here while I've been digging next to the cardboard, and so I just dig below and then cover it back up with the cardboard and all. So I just break the cardboard, dig as deep as I can, and these beds are no dig beds, and so I planted, and I'm going below the bed, like I'm into the actual ground, and it's really soft down there. And when I first planted these beds, there were no dig beds, and so I did add cardboard and then add soil on top, and that's going down into the ground, that layer right there. But I just got an earthworm right there. Put that, so I just try to dig as deep as possible, as deep as the soil will allow me, and try to put those earthworms back in there and cover it back up. And that's what I've been doing throughout the whole bed. And this is making me really happy because the top layer does look dry, because this was like horse manure, so it did have lots of bedding material in here, and so that's staying on the top layer. But I added that on top of cardboard, and then on top of the cardboard was already compost that I've had from the previous 2 years that I've been gardening here. And the only reason why I put the cardboard on top was because this bed was really weedy when I wanted to add the compost. So I put the cardboard on top and then put the horse manure on top of the cardboard. And you can see it's protected the soil underneath, because the soil underneath is still moist and has life. So although the top looks a little rough, underneath is still good and healthy. And I did try to plant as deep as possible. I'm down to my last few. This is taking this was taking longer than I wanted to, so I'm probably only going to do this one bed before I go take a break. When I don't like doing like little things like this for a long period of time where I'm just doing the same thing. So even though it makes no sense, I'll probably jump into the hoop house and finish separating peppers, or just do something else to give my brain a break. This is a weed that I'm pulling out. More weeds. But again, finding the most of the sprouts, I'm probably gonna plant this straight up like that, going as deep as possible, and then covering it. And it's going to rain tomorrow, or the next 2 days, I think tomorrow and the next day, so I'm not gonna water this in. One, because the soil's already super moist where I planted them, and two, because it's gonna be raining. And if I'm watering, it's really just, she scared me, oh my goodness. I would really just be watering to get the top layer wet, which I totally can, but with it gonna be raining the next 2 days, I'm gonna let nature do its course. Oh my goodness, when I just talked about water, it just made me think about, and like nature, it made me think that I still have the drip irrigation that I need to add to those 4 beds. I mean, those log beds back there. But I've totally been, I have it all mapped out and everything, and so I know what I need and how I need to do it. But I've been trying to give those beds the most amount of cover with it getting warm to really kill those weeds. So I don't want to put the drip irrigation until I get those, until I'm ready like to take those off and actually plant in them, which I'm not. I'm probably not going to be for the next till April. So that gives that, we're in the end of February, the last week of February, so yeah. Ooh, definitely at least 6 more weeks before I try and add my drip irrigation. But I'm so happy with how the soil looks underneath all of this, and how I can go lower than what I originally planted, or originally dug in this bed. Not dug. The bed's is 6 inches high, and I can go lower because I don't know if you can see. Let's see. That's about, I can go probably 3 inches below the beds. Man, gardening always shows how in shape your legs are. I've been like bending down like this throughout this whole bed. I did get it planted and I'm so excited about it. It looks so great. but man, my legs are hurting, so I'm definitely not planting the other bed. But here we go. It is a little less than 6 weeks to our last frost date, and I have my potatoes planted. I think it's the 21st, because yesterday was exactly 20 weeks, I think. Today's 21st or 22nd, not sure. But I got the alert on my phone because I've been setting up I've been doing alerts for, I did alert for 12 weeks, 10 weeks, 8 weeks, and 6 weeks with stuff I needed to plant. And it's really helped me keep organized because I struggle with like scatterbrain issues. And so having my notebook and my calendar this year and my garden planner to show what I needed to plant. You got egg? What kind of egg you got?
I got these two, and then I got where's this one.
Oh, nice. You gonna bring it inside?
Yeah, after I saw the last.
Oh, that one has a hole in it.
Too. Was it pretty?
It is pretty. It is pretty. You should go give it to Winter. But having my garden plan has really helped me stay on target this year, and having my phone calendar alert me more than once, because it's really helped me keep organized with what I need to plant. I'm trying to think before I come in here. I feel like there was something else I needed to do. I don't know. I don't think so. I know what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna part ways with you guys, get me something to drink, and then move on to my next activity. But I'll see you guys in my next video. So happy to have those potatoes planted. Bye guys.